No. Okay. So for a lot of you, I know there's a handful of you maybe from Fresno, California. I'm glad you're here. I know some of you are from the Sub2 community. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. I know there might be one or two of you that snuck in that are not realtors, that are not planning to be realtors. Okay, all good. I'm not going to, that's not my intent to, I'm not going to throw you out. But really, this is going to be focused on realtors. It's going to be focused on realtors on how to add more tools in your toolbox. And specifically, how this came together was Michael Zuber. Some of you may or may not know. Most of you probably do. He is Mr. One Rental at a Time. He's been buying houses as rental properties in Fresno, California. He has about 200 plus or minus doors in Fresno. So is that pretty good? 200 plus doors? Yeah, pretty damn good, right? Really, really good. In California, in Fresno, California. So he has an office called The Hub in Fresno, California on Van Ness, across from City College. And, he's like, hey, I want to really promote this. And so we started off, this is a passion project for me in supporting Michael, but also too, we did not get a tremendous response from the Fresno. It was going to be for Fresno only. We didn't get a tremendous response. And so I opened it up. I opened it up to people on Instagram and then also just people within my community. But again, it's going to be all about creative finance for realtors, either A, to get more clients, to have more tools in your toolbox, or B, how to go out there, and B, not A and B together, how you can go out and buy these deals and take these deals down. I really hope for realtors that you guys figure out the real true game is owning real estate. It's owning and it's building a portfolio and it's creating cash flow, right? And that's how you exit. That's how you become wealthy, right? And I think everybody starts that way, but sometimes we get lost in making a living. And so, this is purely a passion project for me. There's no upsell at the end. No coaching or anything to sell you. I'm here purely, I'm going to do a 4-week masterclass. 60 minutes is the target, although we may go 75 minutes. They'll all be recorded, so you guys will have access to them. I don't know how the access will be, but you will have access to them. And my intent is to help you guys get going. So with that said, Aaron, can you unmute yourself, bro? There we go. Cool. So the chat is disabled because I don't want a lot of clutter in the chat. I will turn it on from time to time, but I turned it off specifically because I want to hear you, see you. Aaron, why did you show up today? Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, thanks. I'm a realtor here in the Sacramento area, and I've worked with wholesalers. I've worked with folks doing deals in the past, and for whatever reason, the first 7 years, it just didn't click to me that I could be on that other end of it. And when I got introduced to this community, this was something I wanted to take, being a realtor as like my primary income, and actually just look at myself more as an investor. And then a realtor is just a route that I can take to help a client, the situation, otherwise I'm looking to buy and start to grow a portfolio.
I love it. And that's so important, folks. I used to be a coach for Mike Ferry. Some of you may or may not know Mike Ferry. He's the real OG that started all coaching, training for realtors. And the GOAT, the real GOAT, the greatest of all time when it comes to real estate trainers. One thing, just when I was coaching for Mike and for his son, Tom, who was a real dear friend, one of my big themes was always a passion to teach realtors, like, hey, how do you become your best client? Meaning the best deals should be the deals you buy. The very best deals, you shouldn't be passing those off. You should be figuring out a way to buy those yourself. So I want to highly, highly encourage you guys. That's really the theme. Thank you, Aaron. Who else would like to share? Just go ahead and unmute yourself and share. Why are you here?
Hey, Ty.
Yep. Sorry. You want to go ahead? Sorry.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay.
Giannis, you went first, but normally let's go ladies first, Giannis. I'm going to come back to you. So the Northwest Mom Investor, tell us about yourself. Tell us your name. Where are you and why are you here?
Hi, my name is Maria Dennis, and I live in Seattle, Washington. And I own about 7 rentals in Washington, the Pacific Northwest. I've been trying to grow my portfolio as much as I can. I'm also a realtor and specifically work with just investors. Creative financing is something that I've been wanting to learn, given the fact that I was an investor first before I became realtor. Within the 2 years worth, I was able to grow my investor list, which successfully made me really well in the Northwest. And I have like about 90 investors that works with me in finding deals, and creative financing is something that I think would be a great way to introduce investors, not just financing conventionally. So,
Yep.
and this is the reason why I'm here. So.
Absolutely. I love it. And tell me your first name one more time.
Maria Dennis.
Maria.
Yes.
I love it, Maria. And where are you, in Seattle proper, or where are you? Outside of Seattle?
I'm in Seattle, Washington. Yes, Seattle proper. So I'm in the Magnolia neighborhood. So
I love it. So when I was a young man growing up and starting my path, and I met Mike Ferry, fell in love, like, this is like, I can do this, right? Proactive, door knocking, prospecting, all of that. I met Tom Ferry, his son, which also were about the same age. And then I met this other young man that was also my age as well. And I was just like, man, this guy is so passionate, and this guy's going to be so successful. And he and I became really dear, close friends in those early years. Like, would see each other like probably once a month, hang out. I'd stay at his house. We'd go to events together. We were in a mastermind together. And today that guy is I think one of the top 5 most successful investors. He's really got the be your best client down. Maria, do you know who that is? He's in the greater Seattle market. Any idea who that man is?
is it Patch Nguyen?
You nailed it. Thatch
Yep.
Nguyen.
It's funny you said that. I'm connected with him. He's been trying to convince me to actually go to his springboard classes and be part of the member. It's just I'm very hesitant because right now I'm doing 2 mastermind group with Brandon Turner, Better Life, as well as David Green. And David Green actually helped me go through becoming a really good investor-friendly agent. So I'm trying to do it slowly.
Yep.
But I'm really connected with Patch. So
yeah, the thing I would say, and David Green and those guys are really good. David Green lives like around the corner from my brother-in-law, my in-laws. David Green, I've known he's bought deals for me, wholesale deals. Like, I know David for a long time as well. We're not super tight, but he's just down the street, and he's a real smart guy. I think with Thatch, the difference is that, and I think why you want to be exposed to Thatch is because he started off with this theme of dream big with Thatch. And that's one of the things. He's so inspirational. And I almost think like there's something magical about, I call it Thatch magic, something magical about Thatch. And so I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here.
thank you. I'm excited to learn all your knowledge. So
I love it. I love it. So I don't know who this Zoom user is, but please, if you can change your name to your real name, Zoom user. Otherwise, I'm sorry.
I don't know what's up. I'm going to say hi. This is Hillary.
Hey, Hillary, how are you?
I'm good. I'm actually, so I don't know what my username is. I'm doing this from my phone. We're actually in Washington, D.C., getting on the metro, and I wanted to call in. So I'm probably going to leave the call. But I wanted to say hi. I wanted to say thank you to you, realtor out of Napa, but I actually born and raised in Fresno. Didn't realize the connection that you guys had originally focused on that. But I wanted to say hi before I jump off, and thank you.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm absolutely glad you're here, and always love your participation and being a part of the community. So love it. Thank you, Hillary.
Thanks. Bye.
I'm going to go to Giannis because Giannis has been patiently waiting. Go for it, Giannis.
Hi guys, my name's Jonas. A little bit about me. I'm based in Sacramento. My full-time, I'm a travel physical therapist. I'm a part-time real estate agent. About a month and a half ago, recently I joined Sub as well. And I'm mainly here because I first met Ty inside of like a real estate meetup, and he gives so much good content, so much good knowledge. So if he's gonna post some kind of meetup, then I definitely do want to be there because he's just a great person to listen to. And I'm focusing on agent outreach as well within like seller finance and creative finance. So I just definitely want to learn from Ty, because Ty is a great person that I follow from afar. So just thanks for hosting this, Ty, and I really appreciate you.
I love it, man. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. I've been thinking about you, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next meetup. So you're always again a positive impact to the community. So thank you for being here. I'm gonna go to Alex Gonzalez. Why are you here, brother? Where are you from, and why are you here?
How you doing, Ty? Can you hear me?
I can.
Great, great. My name is Alex. I mentioned a different Zoom. I'm the realtor here in Santa Clarita. We were talking about Neil Weichel.
That's right. I remember. Yeah, that's right. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, so been a realtor since 2016, about a year after my son was born. Kind of what Aaron said, I was just kind of riding a slow realtor wave, closing a couple of deals a month. Last year, New Year's 2022, my son got diagnosed with cancer. 6 years old at the time. Luckily, I had just closed a bunch of deals before, so we we had plenty of money for medical bills and all that. But between time in the hospital and medical bills and all that, I figured that passive income was really what could have kept me afloat, not working for close to a year. During the hospital stays, found one of Pace's videos, and a few months later, we're here.
I love it.
I'm really here to do it big.
I love that you're here. I love your purpose. Obviously, prayers for you, your family, your son, everything that's going on. But you talk about having a why, and that is a strong why, right? Like, I think when we get really clear, like, time is really the only real asset and resource we really actually have, and also realizing that it's limited, right? And that, time with your kids, time with your family, time to take care of, family member when they're, health issues, or even I've got a friend right now who's going through chemo. He's my age. And, all of a sudden, he had all day to work, and now all of a sudden his time's limited, right? He only has a certain amount of time. So, I definitely, prayers for you and your family. We want to definitely help you create that passive income and create the wealth that you need. So thank you, Alex. I'm glad you're here, brother. Thank you. And thank you for reminding me how we know each other. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Love it. Let's go to Josh. Josh, please unmute yourself.
Got me?
Yeah, loud and clear. 10-4.
Hey, my name's Josh. I'm a realtor in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, kind of a vacation-y town, really close to the border of Washington, near Spokane. Been an agent and an investor for 3 years since late 2020. And I've also been a sub-2 student for almost exactly 2 years now, since April 2021. Recently had gotten destroyed in 2022 with new construction. So I shift my focus away from new construction projects, and I'm mostly doing like virtual wholesale and creative finance across the country, a couple different markets, buying two sub-2 deals actually this week here in my local market. But yeah, I'm just here to learn, get more knowledge and value, and see what kind of value I can provide. And I mostly work with investors already on the agent side. I'm part of a team that is fully investor focused. We actually run the only real estate investor meetup here in town in Coeur d'Alene, which is tonight actually. So
nice.
Just here to learn and say hi and see what's up.
Glad you're here, man. Glad you're here. Thank you for being here. I love it. I'm going to do the 3 more. I'm going to go to Zoom user, only because you almost got kicked off. You almost got kicked off. So let's go to Zoom user. Zoom user, please. Are you able to unmute? Maybe? Maybe? Are you able to unmute? Zoom user? There we go.
I thought my account had my name permanently on it. My name is Sam Lapidus.
Oh, hey, yeah, there you go.
I'm on my phone and I'm trying to figure out, you're like, I'm gonna unfollow, like take you out, and I'm trying to fix it, but it's not as user friendly on the phone. I'm sorry.
You're great. You're great. I'm glad you're here. You actually, and it was your happy birthday. It was your birthday a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
So what would you like to get from this 4-week session? What do you need right now in creative finance?
Yeah, so I am a licensed agent in DC, but my license is going to expire soon, and I don't think I want to renew it. So I have a lot of networks in DMV with agents. I've been on an investor-friendly team since 2018, but I would like to expand my community of agents, and I want to be able to explain to them more about creative finance. I'm new to Sub 2 as of January, so I've been learning a lot, but I'm not at the point yet where I can explain it eloquently. And so I think being a part of this will help me be able to translate that information to others.
Got it. So, it's interesting that, thank you for being here, and thank you obviously for figuring out how to share, because I'm glad that I would have felt bad if I had kicked you off.
Thank you. I'm going to fix it, but yeah, I'll make sure that on the real app.
I'm just a stickler. I'm like, absolutely no wallflowers, meaning we're not going to just let random people come in and just kind of not participate and just listen only or whatever. I get if you're working, by the way, and I recognize all your names, most of your names. So I'm glad you're here, Sam. Thank you for being here. I also want to just say to Sam, one of the things Sam said is that we're going to, one of the 4-week portions of this masterclass, we're going to be highly focused on what to say, how to say it. Okay. That's a big deal. How do you explain this? How do you explain it to a seller? How do you explain it to another agent so people get it? Right. So we're going to talk about the storytelling portion, the scripts and dialogues, the conversational, like, how do you actually convey this in a way that the listener understands what you're doing, right? Because it's so unusual. It can be very foreign for some people. For most people, it's a really like an unusual thing if you've not been around it. Okay, so absolutely, we're going to talk about what to say, how to say it. I'm going to go to Jocelyn and Norman, and then I'm really going to get into the meat and potatoes of our class today. So Jocelyn, how about for you? Why are you here? What do you want or need to learn?
I'm Jocelyn, and I'm an agent in Azusa, California. And I want to learn specifically how to explain to agents, creative finance, so I can help like other immigrants like me, how to be able to purchase their first home.
I love it. Okay. I love it. I love it. So again, right in the same theme with Sam, that, what to say and how to say it. I love it. Thank you, Jocelyn, for being here. Do you know there's a very famous person, a world international famous person from Azusa, California? Do you know who that person is that I'm thinking of?
Not really.
He wears this hat. In fact, he has this hat. I saw a couple other people. Tony Robbins.
Oh, really?
Anthony Robbins is from Azusa.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's kind of I think of Azusa.
Good
I think
to
of
know.
Tony. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I love it. Let's go to Norman, and then we're going to get right into it. Whoops, sorry. Unmute. I'm sorry. Unmute yourself, Norman.
Okay. Hey, Ty.
Glad you're here, bro.
Yeah, I'm from Chicago. I'm a new realtor. My connection to California, I have family in the Inland Empire, and also my brother over in Oceanside. So got a lot of love for Cali. Thank you for putting the daily dials. You're the one that I usually join in the mornings and listen as I get ready for work, drive to work. So I'm glad I was able to subscribe to your texting. So what I want to learn is just some of the stuff that has been said with being able to pitch to agents, creative finance. I've been tuning into Kevin Cho's low equity listings that he works on. So I want to target agents that have listings that are low equity and be able to get them in on sending me listings for low equity. And this Saturday, I was at a bank real quick, and the manager at the bank said, we just got into the conversation about investing, and she said that she had not been investing because of where the market is at and the rates are at. And I told her, this is the best time to invest. I told her, have you ever heard about seller financing and subject to, and how you can still take advantage of existing owners' rates and things like that. So I got a potential buyer already in my area for that. So, I just want to learn about getting better at telling people how it works. I know during your daily dials, you talk about cash first and then seeing what they're at, and then, pitching terms and things like that. So I want to be a little bit more organized in that sense. So I think I'm in the right place.
Got it. Okay. I like it. I like it. I love it. Well, Norman, thank you for coming here. And I'm glad that you're representing Chicago and, realtors in Chi-Town. So I love it. Yeah. And it's interesting that there's opportunity all over the country. I mean, it really is. This is a unique time. What a time to be alive, right? Like, there's so much opportunity here, and I'm going to get into that. And so thank you for being here. I'm going to go ahead and get into the presentation, and let me just real quick, what I did is I wanted to, what I wanted to do on this today is really, our focus today is going to be on mindset, right? Mindset, because mindset is everything. Like, yep, look at John. So John Sump here, I'm going to pin John. John has his shirt up. So go ahead, John, show him again. Mindset. Yeah, it kind of blurs at times, but when you step, yeah. So, yeah. So anyway, so mindset is such a big deal, and that, mindset is everything. And in fact, I even alluded to my dear friend, Thatch Wynn, the reason why Thatch is where he's at, he's just leaps and bounds so much further along than so many people, because of mindset, right? Having the right mindset, having a possibility mindset. And so one of the things, and I'm going to get into the slides, and then this isn't going to be heavy slides. This is today, I'm going to throw out some slides. This is really all about you. And I just want to talk about, for creative financing, one of the things I've noticed for realtors is realtors have this realtor filter. Okay. A realtor filter. By the way, the big red circle through the, it is not against realtors. Realtors are awesome. Realtors are a necessity. Okay. The challenge is we don't need 1.6 million realtors. Okay. That's the truth. We're going to be, the last, if you guys follow economic news, probably the last 10 years, kind of going back from 21, not 22, but if we go back from the year 2021, back 10 years, we've averaged about 6 million transactions nationwide. 6 million transactions nationwide for what we have is about 1.6 million realtors. Now, I don't know the math if you average that, but I know it's not a lot, right? I know that's 6 million transaction, 1.6 million realtors. That means the average realtor is doing 3 or 4 transactions, 4 or 5 transactions at best. Okay. By the way, doing 4 or 5 transactions in most markets is not a living. Okay. We also know realtors, if you've been in the business for a while and you actually work in the realtor space, not just in the investment space, but traditional realtor space, 10%, 5% of all the agents in your MLS do 95% of all the transactions, right? If you have your camera on, show me a thumbs up if you're with me on that. Thumbs up. I think you have a reactions tab too, but thumbs up if you're with me on that thought. So, I mean, that's just true. And that's been since the beginning of time, right? And even in a lot of like professional athletes, they have that 1%, right? So, and then within that 10%, you have what's called a fractal, which means then you have the 1%, right? And that person's making, 20 or 30 times what the average person's making, right? It's disproportionately uneven. And so the reason why I bring this up is that if you are a realtor and you really are committed and want to learn creative finance, it's important that we take off the realtor filter. It's important that we take off the realtor filter. Now, what does that mean? It really goes to the mindset, right? Mindset is everything. Mindset is absolutely everything in this game, and that you have to have a mindset that, let's talk about it for a moment. What is the mindset for somebody to be successful as a realtor and what I call a hybrid realtor? So what is a hybrid realtor? It's somebody that works as a realtor and makes commission. They're selling houses to their friends, their family, their centers of influence, their sphere of influence, past clients, friends from church, friends from social circles, old friends from high school, because guess what? We have social media now. You've got Instagram and Facebook and all of those things now, so you can reach out, and then even realtors who maybe do things like farming and call expired listings and call for sale by owners and work different lead sources, different marketing channels. You can make an absolute killing. You can crush it and have a really big realtor business. But what I'm suggesting is that you add the hybrid, which is also doing investments, doing wholesaling, doing fix and flip. And if nothing else, even if you're not going to do wholesaling or fix or flip, and you're not going to do any of the other investor stuff, you learn creative financing so that you can pick up some rental properties. Everybody here, the saddest thing I see is I see realtors. By the way, did anybody notice? Thumbs up if you agree with me. I don't know if any realtors ever noticed, but there's no such thing as a realtor 401k. Yeah, right? Like there's no pension plan for realtors, right? Unless you set one up yourself, right? Unless you set up an IRA or a KEO or some kind of, your own self-directed IRA or something like that. But the reality is there's no retirement for realtors. Folks, in 2023, let me just tell you, the robots are coming, right? Now, I know it's a little, in my opinion, it's a little over sensationalized, but it's still very factual and very true. AI, which this is not, I'm not going to talk about AI almost nothing unless you bring it up. This will be the only time I'll mention AI. AI is here. We don't need 1.6 million realtors for 4 million transactions this year, or even 6 million transactions, or 7 million transactions. We don't need 1.6 million realtors. Now, let's be honest. We're talking about mindset today. Most realtors got in the business for one of two or three reasons. But the two main reasons, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go to the participants. I'm going to let you unmute yourselves. Why, not you, by the way, but why do you think, what are the 2 or 3 reasons why realtors got in the business? There's only 2 or 3 reasons why to get in this business.
Money and
I heard you can make up your own schedule.
You can make your own schedule. Yep. Someone else said.
money and freedom.
Money and freedom. By the way, who here works full-time as a realtor? Show of hands. Who here maybe has a W-2 and then you're also working as a realtor, which feels like you're working double full-time, by show of hands? How is that freedom portion working out on the money and freedom for all of you on your realtor, I got in the business for freedom? How is that freedom shit working out for you right now? I see everybody laughing, by the way. Everybody's laughing right now. Or I've got thumbs down and I've got laughter emojis. For those of you that can't see I'm looking in a gallery view. So the truth is we get into the business for money and freedom. And the reality is we're glued to this thing, this little thing here. We're glued to it 24/7, right? On the weekends, on your vacation, on your day off, you're getting blown up with text messages and calls. And isn't it ironic, right? You schedule a day off, you're going to be off this Saturday. And isn't it ironic that everybody you've been following up with Monday through Friday, somehow all of a sudden, the day that you schedule to take off and go do something fun with your significant other, your spouse, or your kids, that Saturday, isn't it ironic that they all want to meet with you, go see property, have you come over, do a market evaluation, right? I see the laughter, right? And then we've also got the people that are really psycho, right? How many of you feel like you're a little bit crazy? You're kind of on the, you're one of those really like in it to win it people, right? Just give me a thumbs up, right? Or a hand. Yeah, there you go. I love it. Maria from the Northwest. I love it. Laughter from Alex. Thank you for that. Then we've got the psycho people, right? We're carrying 2 phones, right? We've got 2 phones. I'm holding up 2 iPhones right now. Then we got some of you psychos that have 2 phones, and you've got voice over IP and landlines, right? And you're answering all of those. Last time I checked, I'm not even sure, I probably got about 50 plus phone lines. And I consider myself a solopreneur. I don't have a huge team. I've got people I JV with. I've got people that are independent contractors that do different pieces for me. I've got virtual assistants, things like that. But I'm not running a big team. And somehow I've got 2 iPhones and I've got 50 phone numbers, 3 different phone systems with over 50 phone numbers that I've got to account for, somebody on my team or me. Okay. It is absolute chaos if you got in this business for freedom. Now, with that said, there is a path to freedom. There is a path to financial freedom. You guys have the ability to mute yourself. Anybody want to raise their hand and enlighten us? What is this path to financial freedom that I'm alluding to? Somebody raise their hand. Somebody. There we go. Marie, please tell us, what is the path to financial freedom? What am I talking
Owning
about?
real estate.
Oh,
Thank you,
yep,
Anthony.
Anthony just answered it. Basically, buying more rentals, understanding the loopholes on the taxes, and being smart worker.
1,000%. 1,000%. Being a smart worker, being intentional, right? That's what we would call intentional. I love, again, Maria, because you remind me, just because you're from the Northwest and that your handle, my friend Thatch always talks about, he says, don't grind, get aligned. That's his line. Don't grind, get aligned. And what does alignment mean? Let me tell you what alignment means. Alignment is that spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, you're moving in one direction. You're moving in one direction. Now, the way Tony Robbins would describe this, I'm a huge fan. I've, traveled around the country with Tony back in the 90s, helping to volunteer staff events and things like that. Got to really see behind the scenes, spent a lot of time with him, his first wife, Becky. Even now, I'm a huge client of, I go to at least 2 or 3 events a year. One of the things Tony Robbins talks about is he talks about congruency. Congruency. Does anybody know when I say congruency, what does that mean? Does anybody know what that means? Raise your hand if you'd like to. Raise your hand before you unmute. Raise your hand, please. What is congruency? What do I mean by congruency, Roger? Roger Beltran.
I'm sorry. I'm eating here. I'm congruent now that I'm done eating, but it's that you're aligned with your conscience, from what I understand, right? Like congruency is like, your mind knows if you're bullshitting with yourself. So if you say you're going to do like something like that, isn't it? You're like, yeah. It's a little bit different than alignment, but it's like, your mind's like, no, you're lying. Stop it. And even if you lie to other people, your mind knows something like that.
Yeah. Now, notice, folks, I haven't talked about how the contract works, or here's the magical thing to say to a seller to explain to them how seller financing or subject to financing or how creative financing works. You notice I'm not doing that. I'm starting here at the very basics. And I love what Roger said. He said it better than I would have said it. Right? Where you up here, where you know, like what you're saying and what you believe are in alignment. And in fact, if you're taking notes, if you're writing down notes, I would say write down these key words. So align, / alignment, congruency, and then even I would write down spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, alignment. Nobody's talking about this, by the way. I don't think you might have heard it if you spend time in the spiritual world. You might have heard some of this if you've spent time with Tony, but almost never is this talked about in a real estate course, training, program, masterclass. But let me tell you why this is so important. When you admire people online, when you see somebody on social media and you're like, you know, that person's got it going on. I love that person. And you follow them, right? Or you subscribe, or you're like, man, that person really, like, they're really good. Like, they're really, really good. It's because of this, what I'm showing you. They're in alignment. They're congruent. Meaning that their mindset, their words, and their action, their body language, their facial expressions, all of that, it's in alignment. And Roger said it so elegantly. They're not bullshitting. Right? Now, one thing is to try to bullshit someone else, but it's even more important that we're not bullshitting who? Ourselves, right? So that's why this is so important. And again, I know some of you, I'm losing some of you right now because you're like, I thought we were going to talk about creative finance. Let me tell you, it all begins and ends here. And the reason why I'm hitting this so hard is because, again, this theme, this masterclass is for realtors. And let me tell you, realtors, we have a lot of bad habits we need to unwind. We see a great deal, and the first thing we do is we text, email, call, and send it out to 3 or 4 or 5 of our best investors. Hey, I found this on MLS. I think this would be a great fit for you. Versus thinking, wait a minute, this looks like a great deal. How could I put this together for me? Not in a way that's selfish, not in a way that's greedy. But remember, like, you know, we're showing up for sellers as a solution, and we'll get more into that. By the way, we're never using quote unquote magical words. We're not quote unquote having some, you know, such a smooth, you know, script, dialogue, these words that are going to get a seller to do something they don't, you know, they don't want to do, they don't need to do, that's not in their best interest. Okay. That's not what we're doing here. Now, we will get into scripts and dialogues. We will get into what to say and how to say it. But I want to start with the mindset that we want to do good by doing good, meaning that our solutions have to be mutually beneficial for everyone. Beneficial for the seller, number one, beneficial for us as the buyer, number two, and beneficial also for the other people involved. The mortgage company that may be in default that's about to foreclose on somebody, you know, reinstating that loan, bringing that loan current. It could be the realtor that has a listing that they can't move because there's very little to no equity, or the property's kind of banged up. It's a little overpriced, right? Like there's some of that going on. And the realtor just doesn't have the courage or the knowledge on how to explain to their seller that they're just not, they're not within the strike price of the market. Okay. That's a mindset. So again, our mindset is doing good by doing good. How does that start? It starts here. It starts with you. It starts with us. It starts with the person sitting in your chair, the person sitting in my chair. We have to start with congruence, mindset, and belief. It's a belief system, AKA also known as BS. I got a few laughs. Thank you. It really is true, though. It's the BS. It's a belief system. The problem is, and some of you will laugh by this or give me a thumbs up with your camera on, how many times you as an investor maybe tried to explain this to another realtor about how you could buy the property, seller financing, subject to creative financing, and the agent just like, oh my God, that's illegal. Oh my God, you can't do that. No, my broker would never let me do that, right? Some of you are laughing and most of you have your thumbs up. And that's because, why? Because they have the realtor filter on. They have limiting beliefs. They have that belief system, AKA BS, and they're stuck on it. Okay, so let me open it up for questions. Let's start with Marie. Is it Marie or Maria?
Maria, like
Maria. I love it.
how do you solve a problem like Maria?
and I am her mother.
Sorry, my mom is on the side. She hasn't seen me for a while.
Yes,
That's why.
I love it.
Well,
I
I
love
wanted
it.
to tell you, when I started this business, because I was an investor first before I became a realtor, and my experience at least is when the market was so busy, the deals keep coming through. I keep giving and giving because I wanted to learn. And it becomes addicting because now I'm comparing my passive income or my cash flow versus the homes that I'm selling for investors. So when you said about deals coming in your way, and then you're calling investors because you know that it's going to sell. So it was one of those things that I kept for the past 2 years. I think out of those 2 years, I only bought one deal, and which was really disappointing because then I missed out. So what I wanted to do is how I can control that balance. So I'm not putting myself into a last versus then putting everybody else first before me.
Spot on. Spot on. And by the way, just so you know, there's a couple of things where I see a theme here. So thank you for that, Maria. And thank you for inviting your mom or vice versa. I'm glad you're both here. So, and by the way, I love your engagement. You guys laugh at my jokes, you thumbs up, you thumbs down, your participation is great. So thank you for that. One of the things that I want to say is that there seems to be also this theme like, oh, like if you're a realtor, it's unethical, right? It's unethical. You shouldn't try to buy the client's house, or how does that all work? Or no, that's wrong, or it's immoral or whatever. So we're going to talk about that. So we're going to talk about that a lot also in the 4-week class. We're going to really unpack that and really get into the nitty gritty, but also too, even as important as that. And again, today's theme for a couple of you that joined late, our theme today is about mindset, right? Because we got to start with the right mindset. In the other 3 weeks, we're going to talk about what to say and how to say it, how to explain it to sellers, what to say, how to say it to agents, brokers, how to really get them on board with it and educate them. But also a big part of what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about the contracts, and we're going to talk about the disclosures and the acknowledgement. And, as a realtor, as a licensed, whatever state that you're licensed in, whether you're participating, passing it off to another investor or passing it off to somebody and putting together a creative deal, how do you protect yourself? How do you CYA, right? Cover yourself, right? How do you do that? So we're going to trust me, we're going to go deep into details. And then even in California, we have some very tight laws around civil codes with regard to pre-foreclosures and who can buy them, who cannot buy them, having the right paperwork. So we're really going to go into detail on all of that. In fact, what I'm going to do here, let me just kind of preview what we're going to do. So we talked about mindset, and today's theme is all about mindset, but also, what are we going to cover in this 4-week class? We're going to talk about seller financing. We're going to talk about subject to financing, and we're also going to talk about hybrid financing. Hybrid. Now, what is hybrid? It's where you have subject to financing combined with seller financing. So you basically put the two together. We call that a hybrid transaction. So now this is a big one. This is a big one. And whether you're doing creative financing or not, real quick, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. Just again, if you have your camera on, if you can vote, who besides me has noticed that it's gotten tighter for sellers? It's been more challenging. It's required more work to get just generally to lead generate for sellers. Who besides me? Thank you, Vanessa, for voting. Josh, thank you. Sammy, thank you. Roger, Hillary, Joe, everybody here. Giannis, everybody. Alex, thank you, Alex. I love it. Everybody voted. Thank you for voting. Thank you, Brian. So it's been challenging. Let me guys, if you get nothing else from this class today, if you don't come for the next 3 of them, no big deal. I don't care if 2 or 3 of you show up. And in fact, if nobody shows up, I'm still going to record the class, right? But if you don't show up, I may not give you the recording. So just FYI, I want you guys to show up. I want you to participate. And I want to make sure you guys, more than anything, is have the engagement. Ask questions. There are no dumb questions. The only dumb question is to have me here and to be a little shy, or there's a lot of people on here. I think it's a silly question. I don't want to ask it. I want lots of Q&A. In fact, I live for Q&A. I live for Q&A. Q&A is everything. That's what makes the call great, by the way. So let me continue. I'm going to hit these slides and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. If you don't come back and you just want to know, this is where all the money is for sellers in 2023. Okay. Now, yes, there will be other sources and other things. Yes, there will be other sources that you can find business from, but this is going to be a big piece of especially creative financing. But even if nothing else, if you're a realtor and you go, how can I find more listings? Who should I call? Who should I text? Who should I mail to? Who should I door knock? Who should I reach out to? Who should I do campaigns around? It's these 3 categories: pre-foreclosures, absentee owners, and probate. Pre-foreclosures, absentee owners, and probate. And guess why? Because these are the folks that are going to need to sell, not just want to sell, not just interested, not just curious, but a high percentage of these are going to need to sell. Okay. And we'll talk more about that, but these are the best sources. These are the best sellers in 2023. Let's continue. In the course, we're going to talk about how to explain this to a seller, also how to explain it to agents and other brokers, what to say and how to say it. That's going to be a big thing. We talked about that. And also we're going to talk about what could go wrong, right? Where are the problems? Where are the traps? What are the things that you're not going to learn on a YouTube video, right? What are the things that people aren't talking about? Mistakes, right? I've made plenty of mistakes. I've had deals go wrong. I've even had deals go wrong last year, subject to creative deals that went bad. And, you know, one in particular that I'll talk about and share, but, you know, how could you have prevented those things? What could go wrong? How do you prevent them? And what happens if something goes wrong? How do you actually deal with it, right? So that's a big deal. Now, we're also going to talk about the structural mechanics, right? How to put a deal together. I like to refer to myself as a transaction engineer, meaning that I can show up to a seller or to another realtor, and I can say, okay, here are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different ways we can put together a deal. Okay. Those are the structural mechanics. And that includes things such as the paperwork, the right contract, the right disclosures, and the right acknowledgements, right? Making sure that the seller, the other realtor, anybody, buyers, anybody who's involved in participating in this transaction, we need to make sure that everything's done in a very heads up way so that everybody knows what's going on. Here's how it works. This is all the components, okay? We're going to break all of that down. And again, I'm going to do heavy Q&A for that. So that's what we're going to talk about in this 4-week course. And again, like I said, there's no upsell. I'm going to be really focused on all of you. What kind of Q&A? So with that said, let's see. By the way, let me do this real quick. I want to introduce one of my dear friends and also somebody that is participating here. John, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir.
I love it. Okay. Love it. So John, this is my friend, John Sump. Give him the 30-second, 45-second version, who you are, where you're from, how long you've been in the business. Why are you here?
So I'm in the Central Valley, California, the Stockton, Lodi area. I live in Lodi, have a real estate brokerage in Stockton, and I've been in the business for 25 years. Prior to that, I learned creative financing from the old school OG Carlton Sheets, and then met Ty with Mike Ferry, like you said, the OG goat of real estate realtor coaching. And I'm just always here, man, to pick up any tidbits I can. It doesn't matter how long you're in the business, you got to constantly keep your mindset right. That's why I wear a mindset t-shirt. And, you know, the bottom line is there's so much going on in this business, and most realtors get in the business, you know, they think it's just going to be a piece of cake. They think the phone's going to ring, they're going to make a bunch of money. But the reality is that's not what happens. And so learning all of these ways of dealing with a potential seller or a potential buyer that comes along is like, hey, I'd like to buy this property. Have you thought about this? And I know for myself, one of the easiest things to do is to show them the contracts that come from, I'm in California, from CAR. CAR has seller financing contracts. It has sub-2 contracts. It has, you know, all that stuff in there already. But most people don't take the time to learn it. So, you know, what Ty's saying is spot on. And yeah, I take a lot of notes.
Yeah, I love it. And so John and I, one of the things with John and I is that we've done a bunch of deals together recently, more wholesaling than anything. But we're both actively looking for creative deals. We're actively buying deals. We're actively wholesaling deals. We're doing dispositioning. We're JVing with other people and splitting the deals with them. And so John is a part of that. And John's just a longtime dear friend. So I'm happy thank you, John, for being here and supporting this. And I just want to say that, again, we're going to get into Q&A now, but I would just say, like, even those contracts, even your state probably has contracts and you just simply didn't know they were there. And or also for us, we're going to show you how to create the addendums, right? So even if you're required to use a state contract in your local state or local municipality, okay, and there's not a creative contract or there's not a subject to contract, well, let's show you how to create an addendum behind it. Let's show you how to do that. And not only that, but protect you, CYA, cover your assets, CYA, cover your assets. So we want to make sure, right? We want to avoid any kind of litigation. We want to minimize or eliminate any kind of legal issues. And the biggest thing, though, and I'll tell you, is that having clear, concise communication from jump ball. That's the most important thing on these. So what to say, how to say it. Today is about mindset, but I'll answer any questions. Who has questions? Let's interact. Raise your hand. You have the ability to unmute yourself. I would prefer if you raise your hand with the reaction tab and I'll call on you. Who would like to go? Zoom user, please, Zoom user.
Hey, Ty, just want to say thanks. It's Joe Edwards. I apologize. I'm driving. I was on the door. I couldn't change the Zoom user. I saw your message and I was just like, oh, my friend. I'm so sorry. So my question is really not
what did I send you, though? What did I send you in the chat? Tell everybody.
You were like, you're going to get kicked out if you don't change your name. And I'm in a drive mode or something like that where it won't allow me to change my name on my app. So it was interesting. I thought I attempted it, but it didn't work. So, but I really wanted to say thank you for putting this on. I love the mindset aspect of it, you know, being in sub 2, you know, working to get the realtor license, and, you know, my wife's a realtor too. Very deep in it.
Where are you? What market?
SoCal. We actually talked maybe 2 weeks ago. So I've been in sub 2. I don't even know how long. Not much. I haven't been on a lot of the. Irvine.
No.
Yeah. So SoCal, Irvine, Newport, Costa Mesa, Orange County is where I really concentrate on. But you know, we've had some success actually, which is great. First 2 weeks in the sub 2, got a deal and whatnot. So that's great. Already closed. Everything's good. So, and I was actually just trying to reach out to another buyer actually on the door. I was like, well, let me get on the call. So I was a little bit late and
Oh, you're
trying
great,
to,
dude. And I'm glad you didn't get kicked off. So
yeah.
I'm glad you raised your hand too. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just wanted just to be respectful, more so than anything, just let you know there's not this fictitious person trying to just absorb content and whatnot.
Well,
so
one of the things too, and I did the reason why that was a PSA, I got busy with it, but just so you know, for the next 3 weeks, the co-host is going to do the, hey, Zoom user, change your name or I'm going to kick you off. And then after like 5 minutes, if they don't change their name, they're going to get kicked off. So I just
yeah,
didn't have time to
absolutely.
do it today, but I'm glad you're here, bro. And I'm glad I know who you are. And I remember you
Yeah,
emailed and we had some interaction. So, and I love
we
you're in
did.
Irvine.
Yeah, I'm in Irvine, and if I find a deal and it works, you know, I'll let you know. This one is a good one, but he's going to be on foreclosure. Like literally, he's going to be in foreclosure. Like it's going to be trustee sale, and on 8 days, no less than that, on the 12th, 6 days now. So I'm literally just trying to help him out and help him out a little bit, but he's kind of went dark. You know, he needed some money, and I just want to make sure he's good, actually, because it's a
Yeah.
really it's challenging when you're dealing with the pre-foreclosures, no doubt. It's very stressful for all parties involved. So if I can find a deal, I'll let you know, my friend. I'm going to plug in more to sub 2. I know it sounds odd, but just I've been so active just trying to do the work, you know, literally on the doors and whatnot. So
Well, that's good. And the reason why I say that is it's usually the opposite. I see people that are more trying to learn content and never do anything. So my thing is always like, do the work, do the work, do the work, do the work. So the fact that you're out door knocking is great, man. Thank you for being here, dude. I totally appreciate you saying that and sharing, brother. Thank you. Let's continue with more questions because I know we're over the hour. Who else? More questions? Anything creative, anything mindset, even if you have a technical question about lead sources, whatever. Any questions? Hillary. Go for it, Hillary.
Hi. Okay, I'm going to. I cannot get the video to work, but I want to partner up. There was we happen to be in DC right now, and someone said they're B&B. But like, I would love for you to just pour into us. I'd love, you know, hopefully John will you know, pour into us. I know you guys have partnered up and create a space for us to, you know, kind of level up together. I'm super excited, got the opportunity to collaborate. So in this, like without the chat and without an ability to like post my contacts or anything, do you have a way for us to connect or follow up after?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Definitely. That's the intent is, you know, again, you know, it's all community based and that's how we met. Right. So Hillary and I met from Michael Zuber, One Rental at a Time introduced. Hillary came to an event and it was epic. So no, I'm glad that you're here. And I love it. It was a little bit gargled, your audio, but I think in essence, she was saying, hey, I want to squat up with other people, you know, JV, do deals together. So that's always a part of any community. All the communities I'm involved in, I'm always a huge proponent. Like people need to get together, help each other. And that's how this is how this masterclass came together. So more specific questions. Anyone have any questions about creative financing or the mindset piece? Go for it, Aaron. We'll go Aaron and then we'll go Norman. Anyone else? Raise your hand if you.
Yeah, I've actually just also for kind of compliment John. I've actually called him a few times with some technical questions on some deals. He's always available to just sort of give me his 2 cents. And I really appreciate that, John. So thank you. And I've mentioned this to him before, but I've got a sub 2 deal on the table. It's actually the house that I rent currently right now. And the guy's some old broker. So he kind of gets the idea, but I'm not in sub 2. And so, you know, I don't know really how to go about it. And so I'm hoping this class will really kind of show me that. So I'll actually have something actionable to put it on.
Yeah, for sure. So a couple things too, and I just want to be crystal clear because this has come up several times throughout today. This was not a sanctioned part of the sub 2 community. This was purely my like, hey, I just contribution based. It again we're not going to promote any mentorships. We're not selling courses. This was purely me wanting to give back to the realtor community. And specifically, it started off where Michael Zuber, we were going to do specifically just for Fresno realtors, Fresno Madera realtors, to build kind of a base of business there. Michael's actively looking for sub 2 deals. I myself am also actively looking for sub 2 deals in California. Michael exclusively Fresno. So it started off with the Fresno theme, and then it's gotten bigger. So 100%, if you have a deal scenario, anybody here, and Aaron, even on your own deal, I don't want to part of your deal or anything like that. If you guys have deals, you can email ty@tylg.com, ty@tylg.com, specifically on deals, specific deals. If you send it, send me the full address. I'm not going to steal your deal. I have more deals than I can deal with. Have no, especially, have no interest in, any of that. I do want to help you get paid. I will give you coaching on it. John also helps out with that. John and I are looking for deals in California, Central Valley, San Francisco, Oakland Bay Area, but anywhere in California we'll do deals. But even if you're in Texas or Idaho or wherever, we'll coach you on your deals just out of community. But again, our whole thing is about realtor community. We're not here to sell anything. Would love to collaborate with you guys. But again, this was all based on collaboration and just giving back. So thank you, Aaron. Email me whatever deal questions you have, and we will definitely support you and help you to put that deal together, especially for your own home. I love that. I love it. Let's go for it. Norman.
For lead sources, which you mentioned, probate, pre-foreclosure, and absentee owner, other than MLS Access, what other SaaS programs do you use?
SaaS programs, great question. Yes. So in multiple listing, I do have pre-set up searches. So I have like keyword stuff, fixer-upper, probate, attorney, bankruptcy, things like that. So I have set up searches in MLS. Again, shout out to the realtors. We have, we're the first to the table when it comes to that. So we have that. We have not aggressively worked it. We've worked a little bit of it, and we have picked up some deals there. So that's number one. That's an easy one. For areas in our buy box, areas that we like to buy. Also price range. For us, we really like to be around the median value or under the median value for any given county, MSA, metro area. In terms of other SaaSes, what is SaaS? Software as a service. These are tools. The other SaaS that I really, really love is Property Radar. Property Radar, you can pull like absentee owner lists. I don't have an affiliate with with Property Radar. I don't get paid a commission, but it's a tool I've used for the last 10, 12, 13 years since the inception of it. It was originally called Foreclosure Radar. So every week we pull all the new notice of defaults. We pull all the new notice of trustee sales. We update all the auctions. And as well as we also pull absentee owners. You can also pull tax defaults, I believe, in there. We're not actively doing that. But it's just a really clean source of data, even more, to me, more accessible and easier to use than Realist, which I get for free through subscription of multiple listing service. So I like Property Radar for the foreclosure services as well as absentee owners. Now, so we're pulling 10,000 records. Usually it's 2,000 or 3,000 pre-foreclosures. And then the other 7,000 are absentee owners in target areas that we like to buy in. Now, other softwares, other data services, I like Probate Data. They're out of Southern California. You can get probate data there. That's a good source. Again, direct to seller. Other software, Batch Leads, I really like. Batch Leads. That's another one where you can do a thing called list stacking. So as an example, what I'll do is I'll put in, every time I get a probate list, I'll put that in. Every time I get a pre-foreclosure list, I'll put that in. Anytime I get absentee owners or farm packages, I'll put those in. And what you start to see is you see patterns, and you'll see like where maybe one property is on 2 or 3 lists. And on top of it, in Batch Leads, you can use, they have a little tab at the bottom where you can go like vacant properties. So you could pull like probate, pre-foreclosure, absentee owners, and vacant. That's going to be a high probability, right? So that might be something that, I like that. The other list I'm not using now, but I think is good data, is Rebo Gateway. Rebo Gateway, that's a good source. And they have some unique stuff. They have like divorce lists. They have tax defaults. They have some probate. It's not very good. They also have some code violations depending on the market you're in. I wouldn't just subscribe. I would get on a call, get on a demo call with one of the reps. Again, I don't have an affiliate link with them, not promoting them for any other reason than that is, I've used that data in the past. So does that help, Norman?
Yes, it does. And it seems like most of it is for Cali, except for Batch, right?
No, well, Property Radar is nationwide. They used to be just West Coast,
Okay.
but now they're nationwide. So Property Radar is nationwide, pre-foreclosures nationwide, absentee owners, tax records nationwide. You can subscribe for as little as I think 49 or 79 bucks a month for one market. I think it's, to me, it's one of the best, most accurate services out there. Batch also has the same data though, similar data. You can also get pre-foreclosures and some of the niche stuff on Batch. So it is there. For my market for pre-foreclosures in California though, Property Radar is more accurate, more real time, what I would call real time. They update on a daily basis, if not 2 or 3 times a day. And you'll see like stuff that's going to auction tomorrow for trustee sale. You'll see them get postponed in real time, like today, get pulled off the list. So I really favor Property Radar over others because of the real-time updates in foreclosures for the markets I work. Does that help?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Love it, man. Thanks for being here. Keep coming back. Let's go to Sammy. Sammy Sam, I am.
Yeah, it's me. Two questions.
Please.
I have an address where they're in foreclosure and probate. What would you do to skip trace the next of kin? They're both owners are passed away. So I don't know. Yeah.
The least expensive and pretty damn accurate is you could go to fastpeoplesearch.com.
Okay.
And you would search whoever the deceased is, their name, their address, city, state. And then what'll happen is it'll pop up and then it'll have these, it won't be relative. It doesn't say relatives. I think it says like associated.
Okay.
And then you could click on each one of those and it's all free. And Fast People Search is like, my experience is about 75-80% accurate.
Okay, great.
The challenge is they might throw up like for one record, they might throw up 8 phone numbers. So you may have to hunt. No. Yeah, you may have to hunt and only 1 or 2 of those numbers really matter.
Yeah.
But they'll have a bunch of, it's pretty damn good. Fast People Search is free. If you're doing a list, let's just say if you were doing like a driving for dollars list, you could upload that list into Batch and then Batch skips traces and you could do that. And I don't know the minimum. I think you have to have 10, maybe 25, maybe 50, 100 I'm not really sure. There is a minimum and you have to pay a subscription fee and you have to pay for, 10 or 15 cents a record for hits, only if it finds phone numbers and contact information for them. But you can skip trace through Batch.
Okay, great. I'm doing this all on a budget. So I'll try free Fast People Search first.
I use Fast People Search all the time and I have those other tools, but usually it's just easier that like I'm looking at something and I'm like, oh, look at this. This is interesting. And I can literally right click my mouse, copy, paste, boom, boom, boom. And I can get there so much faster, by opening up a couple more tabs in my Chrome browser and just click, 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 cut and paste and boom, versus, oh, I got to upload, and especially for one-offs. So Fast People Search is awesome.
All right, thank you. My second question is, I'm wondering if you can help me craft like a short intro approach to agents. Like I'm using the Astro Blaster, the AI software that Pace and Jamil are promoting. So I'm trying to write my sequences now, and I'm just kind of stuck on the first sequence of like, I'm like, what should I say? I have it as like, I'd love to connect with you and see how can I offer you multiple ways that I can help your sellers, but I don't know if that's a good intro or.
Well, let's talk about it. If you send that to me as a realtor,
right,
I probably would not respond because I'm not looking to connect. And
right,
to me, when somebody says, hey, I want to connect with you, it really means I want to waste your time.
right.
And I know, and respectfully, I say that, but that's, to me, that's a big deal. And I'm going to go to John in a moment here. But what I would say is that I think for sure we want to set an impression with agents. If you're calling other agents or realtors about, hunting for deals and that, I think it's really important to the hook, if you will, to grab their attention. And I don't believe in hook, by the way, because I don't like that word. But really what I'm saying is the hook is grab their attention.
Yeah.
And you want to grab their attention by tapping into their, I need to make money, and or tap into their greed gland, which is, hey, Bob, I'm an investor, a local investor looking to buy and sell more properties. When can I talk with you? Something like that. Let's get John in there. But the idea is that when I hear somebody says, I look to buy and sell, I'm like, oh, that could be a client.
Yeah.
And all that, but not a bullshit. Because the other thing too is this. Let me be really clear. I'll put a fixer-upper property on the MLS that I'm wholetailing, right? That I'm wholetailing, meaning I got it at a cheap price. I mark it up. I don't want to deal with all the garbage and all that. So I just resell it on MLS. And I get so many, it's so blatantly clear who the newbies are, who the beginners are, who the wholesalers are, who the just, the brand new people are so obvious. And usually because they write these long ass text messages and emails that are super buttery, super flowery and all this. And and versus the short and sweet one, I'm like, gets my curiosity. Like, who's this?
That's what I'm trying to get. Okay. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
John Sump, do you want to comment on that? John,
Yes.
He's also using text messaging. Talk about it.
So were you in the class, Sam?
I don't want to divert and talk about the class.
Yeah.
I want to stay on point. Do you have thoughts on this?
I do, real quick. It's real, how they did the very first one was real simple. I found your information. I'm a new investor in the area. I'd like to buy some property. Keep it short and simple like Ty's saying, but they had a couple great examples in the class.
Short and sweet always wins. I love it. Thank you, John. So let's go to Katrina, and then we're going to go to Jeff, and we're going to wrap up. If you have a question, I will do one more after Jeff or whoever raises their hand in the next 5 seconds. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up. So if you do have a question, if you raise your hand in the next 5 seconds, I'll do it. After that, it's time to eat lunch. So Katrina, please.
Hi.
Hello.
Me and my partner, realtors, are trying to figure out how to work with subject to buyers. So we get a lot of folks that are having problems with their mortgage and they need a solution. And we're trying to be that solution for them, but we just don't know how to go about it.
Okay. So how do you find buyers? Okay. Great question. And it's good that you're asking that now, because I didn't plan on spending a lot of time there, but we will. Let me just explain how you find buyers. Probably the best way is you could post those on places like Facebook groups. You could place it on places like Craigslist. You could post it on Zillow, even for that matter. And the idea is that, the headline should be seller financing or lease option, bad credit. Okay. All credit or not even bad credit. Okay. But all credit will be considered, something along those lines. But the headline is seller financing. And that's a big deal. And I think, being able to build a list of people that, because there's a lot of people out there that, have $50,000 for a down payment or $20,000 for a down payment, or, you know, whatever, 10 or 15,000 for a down payment, depending on the market, but simply have 580 credit scores. They went through a divorce, you know, they had some credit issues, you know, maybe they're coming off of a job layoff, or they got injured at work, but they just got a settlement, you know, or they just got their disability claim settled and now they're back to work, they're healthy again. And, you know, unfortunately their credit score got beat down because of, you know, credit scores, and they really want to own a home in the worst way. So that's really your ideal person. They need to be working. They need to have, you know, steady income. And then it's just, you know, it's usually a life circumstance, usually divorce or some kind of layoff or some kind of on the job or injury or something like that. So that's who you're looking for, but you can use the normal channels. Now, to that, the best way to find a buyer, I gave you some of the how-to, but the real best way to find the buyer is to get a deal under contract. When you get a deal under contract, then the buyers will come. Then now you actually have something to talk about. But you could advertise to build a buyer list and all of that. You could do that. I'm not opposed to it, but I think the best way to get a buyer is to get a deal, and then to actually have some terms to answer, to offer, you know, and then even still, you know, like, okay, I got this under contract. The monthly payment's $1,500. They're 3 months behind, plus penalties, all of that. Okay, I'm going to need about $6,000 or $7,000 to reinstate the loan. I want to make $10,000 as a fee. Okay, that's 17. So now I know it's 20,000 down, and the payment's $1,500 a month. I want to make a spread of, you know, $300 or $400 or $500. Okay, minimum down, $25,000 down, with $2,000 a month, because I actually have a deal that I've underwritten that now I can offer out as seller financing. Does that help, Katrina?
It does. It does. And I'll be, I'm definitely gonna continue, because on the seller side, I have a lot of sellers that are not sure what to do with their property. So
Understood. Well, cool. I'm glad you're here. So I would say help those sellers by first getting them under contract, and then the, you know, one step at a time, right? One step at a time. The next step is to get something under contract with the seller. Just make sure that you're clear, like, hey, I'm going to get this under contract, and then I'm going to take it out and I'm going to network it, and I'm going to find an end user. So if you're worried about canceling.
yeah, and that's the key, learning how to get them under contract.
Well, we'll talk about all that here. So that'll be a part of what we're talking about. So I'm glad you're here, though. Thank you for the question.
Cool.
I love it. So let's go to Jeff. Bring us home, Jeff. Nice, concise. What is your question?
Yes, sir. I wanted to give a quick shout out. Aaron did this earlier with John, but I want to give a shout out to John Sump, who is always generous with his time, giving wonderful advice to folks, helping them grow their business. So I just wanted to give a shout out to my man, John. And also, Ty, thank you for putting this on. I know you have to, you know, this is not something that you're doing except for out of the abundance of your heart, and you're just trying to bless other people. So I wanted to ask you, Ty, and I wanted to also say thank you, because you did help validate some underwriting that I did on a property here in Carmel. So thank you for checking on that for me. And I just wanted to ask you, you're giving to us this free content. My question is to you, Ty, how can we be a blessing to you and be a go-giver back to you?
Oh, I love it. Thank you. What a great question. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. The, you know, I would say, you know, like, I mean, a couple things is that we, you know, doing good by doing good, right? Doing great by doing great. So give, you know, that's always been a theme for me. And I would say that, you know, if you guys have deals, you know, I can help you. We can help you get those deals done. And so we can participate in those deals. We can buy those deals. We can be the buyer on those deals. But again, I'm not doing that. That's not my motive here. My motive really is to give and share. And, you know, I really do want to build a sub community, if you will, you know, and I want to get, I think realtors are going to really suffer in this market. They already are suffering in this market, realtors, and they're going to continue to suffer. So my concern is that, you know, how can I help? right? So I want to build a realtor community that's productive, a sub community. And again, like I said, there's no pitch here. There's no pitch here other than if you have deals and you need help, I'll help you. Right?
Ty,
If you
can
have
you
deals
share
that we
your-
can do
Can
together.
can you share your email address again for sharing those deals?
Absolutely. So it's ty@tylg.com. Is it this hand? Am I pointing at it right now? Because I think it's a reverse image. So it's ty@tylg.com, ty@tylg.com. Email me. Also, but what you can also do, thank you, Jeff, for that tee up. Also too, is invite other realtors to come. Spread the word, invite them, invite other realtors to come. And I would love to have, I know we had about 45 register. We had about 35, I think at 35, 38 people show up. So that's good to me. I know I can hold 100. I would love for this to, by week 3 or 4, we're like, sold out and people can't get in. So people are getting in early, all of that. So, but this is all about you guys. So I will preview again what we're going to do. So the next 3 classes, we're going to get in the weeds, meaning we're going to go into deep detail, what to say, how to say it. We're going to get into contracts. What does a contract look like? What kind of provisions, what kind of acknowledgments, what kind of things do you need in there to keep you out of court, keep you out of harm's way, right? I probably had, not exaggerating, highly, highly respected people that a lot of you know calling me multiple phone calls over the last month and a half. Hey, I'm getting threatened with lawsuit. The seller's acting like they didn't understand what they did, or what do I do now? Okay. By the way, when the shit hits the fan, I'm one of the guys that gets those calls in the middle of the night or early in the morning when somebody's like, oh my God, I'm getting threatened, lawsuit or the seller or whatever. How do I unwind this? What do I do? So, I'm one of the guys in a couple of different mentorships that many of you know about, and not, I'm one of the guys that there to help. So what I like to do is say, hey, how do you stay, what do you do when, the idea is that you don't get into trouble. You don't get into that kind of a, he said, she said. Why? Because your paperwork is so strong that, the paperwork speaks for itself. The contract speaks for itself. So a lot of those nuances that we're going to go through in this next 3 weeks. Also, we will go, today is the 7th, today is the 6th. We will go same time, the 13th, April 13th. We'll also go the same time on April 20th. The week of April the 24th, we'll either go on Monday or Tuesday. I'm traveling that week, or we'll push it to May. We'll push it into May. So I'll take a survey. So think about that. But the last class, the 4th class, will either be on a Monday or Tuesday, or we can skip a week and come back. So I'm open to whatever suits you guys. I like consistency, meaning Thursday at noon, Thursday at noon, Thursday at noon. I'm probably more inclined to say, let's skip and we'll do it on the first Thursday, which would be May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, right? So, all right, you guys are great. Alex raised his hand and I said I wasn't going to take any more questions, but you know what? I'm feeling generous, Alex. Go for it.
Sorry, brother. I'm actually at a property. I'm trying to do some clean out service for a client. If we have a scenario for you, what email should I send this information so I can better understand the whole process? And same one?
ty@tylg.com. ty@tylg.com. I do all my own stunts. I check all my own emails. I do have somebody helping me that helps me sort them and stuff. But even if it's just a question, whatever, you guys can email me. If it's a deal, I get back to you really, really quick that you want to squat up on. If it's a question, I get back to you pretty quick too, but it's at the pace of my day. So, most of my day, just like the rest of you, I spend 5 to 6 hours a day working on deals, negotiating, talking to sellers, underwriting deals, putting deals together. So you guys are great. Thank you for your participation. Same time, same link next week, next Thursday at noon, guys. Thank you again for all your participation. Have a great weekend. Finish the week strong. Keep doing the work.